Several incumbent GOP senators are in the political fights of their lives right now. Of course, the presidential election is really the one dominating the headlines, but the loss of a significant number of GOP senators could radically alter the balance of power in Washington. Each race is taking its own course, but Democrats are licking their chops, hoping they can win enough Senate seats to prevent any filibusters by Republicans. Is that possible? Let's talk about it with Jennifer Skalka, the editor of Hotline on Call. Jennifer, first of all, in Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, the minority leader of the Republicans in the U.S. Senate, and yet he is in a pretty tough fight, isn't he?
He's in a pretty tough fight. They are all, as you said, in very tough fights. Obviously, with a president with approval ratings in the 20s and 30s, and Barack Obama on the top of the Democratic ticket, this seems to be shaping up to be a Democratic year. McConnell is running against Bruce Lunsford. It's a single-digit race right now. Really, really tight. I don't think anyone thinks that Kentucky is going to go for Obama. It looks like a solid McCain state at this point. But Hillary Clinton is stumping for McConnell there over the for Lunsford there over the weekend, and it's really, really tight. Certainly, I think the McConnell folks are concerned.
North Carolina, Elizabeth Dole versus Kay Hagan. Elizabeth Dole, a former presidential contender, a former ambassador, has all kinds of credentials, and yet she too is in the fight of her life. And I guess Kay Hagan has better poll numbers at this point.
She does. It's also a single-digit race, but Hagan looks to be out front 3 or 4 points, depending on the poll that you look at. It's a tough battle, and obviously Obama is doing quite well in North Carolina, so Hagan is probably benefiting somewhat from that. There's some funny ads running on the air there. One that Hagan has, actually the DSCC has up, sort of poking fun at Liddy Dole's age, and Liddy Dole has a very tough ad up right now mentioning that Kay Hagan has taken money from a PAC called Godless America. So getting very dirty in North Carolina.
And let's talk about Minnesota. Norm Coleman, the former mayor, pretty well-known politician in that state, but he doesn't have the name recognition of the comedian on the right, Al Franken.
The daily affirmations guy, right? Another very, very tight contest. Coleman has had to come out. He came out very quickly in urging Ted Stevens to resign. I believe Norm Coleman took his negative ads off the air. It's a tough battle in Minnesota. Minnesota, as you know, is sort of a renegade state. They like good government politicians there, and Norm Coleman has had some trouble with rumors that he's accepted lower-priced housing in the District of Columbia from a supporter, and so he's sort of in a tough spot there. And obviously, as you mentioned, Al Franken has probably 100% name recognition, and he's run a tough campaign. The Democrats have poured a lot of money into the state.
It's interesting because, people say, Congress's ratings are lower than the president's right now, and yet most people say, well, I hate Congress as an institution. I don't think it gets the job done, but I like my local guy or woman. In this situation, it would seem that a lot of people are raising questions about their local senator.
Yes. John McCain's campaign is making a homestretch argument for divided government. What happens when Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid are all in charge and the Democrats can slam through their agenda? But it doesn't seem to be resonating with voters who are clearly looking for change, looking for new leadership, and want a fresh start after 8 years of the Bush administration.
Well, and it also raises questions about what kind of Supreme Court nominees you'd get out of a President Obama if he wins, and if he's got a veto-proof majority in the Senate. A filibuster-proof majority. Is that a possibility here for the Democrats? 60 seats.
It is. It is. Look, they need 9 seats, and the 3 races you mentioned are certainly tight. There's also the Georgia Senate race. Saxby Chambliss, the Republican incumbent, is also in the fight of his life, and that would be a particularly sweet race for the Democrats if they manage to help their nominee Jim Martin make it over the edge. As you know, Chambliss won a very, very tough contest in 2002.
Was pretty
That's
tough.
right. Yeah, it was.
Jennifer Skalka, the editor of Hotline on Call. Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you.